You're going to drink more water and you're going to get more sleep. You do those two things, guess what? You're going to get some results. You add the products, it's just kind of a bonus. But if you can just drink the water and get more sleep, you're going to benefit. But 75% of Americans don't get sleep at night. 1 in 5 of the people in this room are taking a sleep aid, prescription. And it's having all kinds of ill side effects. 1 in 4 Americans is on a statin drug, lowering the cholesterol. But here's the problem. 80% of the physicians that prescribe that statin drug forget to tell people one thing. When you give this statin to somebody, their body stops producing CoQ10. CoQ10 is the nutrient necessary for heart health. It's actually necessary for the muscle to continue to contract. So you're taking a statin that could literally cause the heart attack if you don't supplement with CoQ10. Our ID assessment actually knows, so that when you say I'm taking a statin drug, it automatically puts CoQ10 in there. You don't even have to know about that. This is the kind of stuff that where we're on the cutting edge. And you know what's interesting about this? We're not even 18 months old. People are starting to find out. And what's interesting is in the next 3 weeks, I'm going to give you an idea of some of the meetings that I have scheduled. And this is just me. This isn't Logan. This isn't Daryl. This isn't Scott. This is just the meetings that I have planned. I'm leaving from here tomorrow, headed to D.C. I've got meetings with 2 embassies and the White House. I'm an 18-month-old company. What am I doing working with people there?
Wow.
Really. We got a phone call last week. We have a meeting with one of the largest research hospitals in the country because they want to talk to us about what we're doing on the corporate wellness side. Don't worry, I'll mention corporate wellness in a second. I know that's what people want to hear from. But they want to talk to us about what we're doing on corporate wellness. Why? Because our corporate wellness program isn't about selling products. It's about health and wellness. It's about getting people healthy. You know what's funny is I used to be 307 pounds. So I'm not talking at anybody, I'm talking with you. You want to know how hard it is? I've been in front of the refrigerator at 1 o'clock in the morning. Nobody watching. Been there, done that. I got the t-shirts to prove it still. This big. You know, what's interesting is I was a college athlete, 8% body fat. 10 years later, I was 307 pounds. I never saw it until I got home from Disney World with a picture of me and Goofy, and I was bigger than Goofy. True story. I actually got the pictures of Goofy. Sometimes I show them. If you want to see them, come see me afterwards. It's not flattering. But the reason why I tell people that is because when I talk about the passion that I have for the products that we develop, and I have the passion to help people, it's coming from a place that is really deep. Because I know how hard this is. I listened to all the falsities. It took me 6.5 years to figure out how to lose that weight. Now you have to understand, I have a bachelor's degree, a master's, actually I have 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's degree, and a law degree. So I got a lot of education, but it still took me 6.5 years. Because I listened to everybody. Name a diet, I've tried it. Name a pill, I took it, other than Fen-Phen, thank God. Otherwise I'd be gone. You know, it's amazing that we are having these kind of meetings with these types of organizations, and and we're sitting at the table on the cutting edge of health and wellness. And how do we do that? When you create such a wave and such a ripple in a market, and you're speaking from the mountaintops, challenge us. We say we have the best ingredients, best products on the planet. And if you think you can have something better, come challenge us. Not a single person has yet. In fact, most of the ones that try wish they hadn't. Because here's what ends up happening. I will never allow anyone to talk bad about another company, ever. In fact, if you do on social media, I'll be the one that calls you and says, stop. Because ultimately, you will never let us look better, make us look better by talking bad about somebody else. But if another company wants to attack us, I promise you, I got 20 years of litigation experience. You don't want to mess with me. Okay, it's not going to be pretty because I've got the facts. When you're evidence-based and everything you do is based upon science, you don't have anything to worry about. We can put our heads down at the pillow at night and be just fine. You know, our skincare line, you know, when we were creating that, I went in to meet with the formulators, the scientists, and everyone else. And, you know, Logan kind of gave me this task. He goes, okay, we really need to go with the skincare. And I said, why? He goes, I just saw the bill for my wife's last skincare product. I was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And we started developing this, and I learned something from these, you know, the top formulators and scientists in this country. Ladies, this one is just for you. If it's really big, it's cheap. If it's mid-sized, it's mid-priced. If it's really small, it's really expensive. The difference in cost to produce all 3 is pennies. Pennies. What we did is we went to the formulators and scientists that make stuff for Neiman Marcus, for Macy's, for you name it, including people in our industry. And we said, okay, we want you to make the best the highest quality product you've ever made. And they said, okay, well, what's the price point? I said, what do you mean, what's the price point? They said, well, how much do we have to spend? I said, you don't have a price point. I just said I wanted the best you've ever created. I want you to put hand on Bible, gun to head, say this is the best you've ever done. And they're like, okay, so they made it. And we go in to talk to them, and we were getting great results on the test trials and everything else, and they said, okay, well, where's the price? And they started apologizing. I was like, what's wrong? And they said, well, this is the most expensive by 2 times that we've ever built anything. I said, okay, what's working, so that doesn't matter, give it to me. And I look at the price, and I said, I think you guys made a mistake. And they said, we know, we're sorry, it's really expensive. I said, no, I think you left off a 0 in here. Because ultimately what I learned was this: a lot of the competitors that have that little serum that's $220, $300, it's cost about 1/3 what ours cost to produce. So what I told all of them is I said, well, get ready, because IDLife's about to cause a ripple in this industry. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, not only are we going to come out with the best product, but we're going to charge half as much as everybody else, because there's no reason to charge that much for it. Because we're going to use the same pricing model that we use on everything else. Because ultimately, we're never going to be the cheapest on anything, other than maybe skincare now. We're never going to be the cheapest, because we're always going to build the best. The other commitment that we have to everyone is this: if you find something that's better, if you have a product, if you have an ingredient, you have something new you want us to see, bring it to us. We will look, we will listen. Over half of our best ideas in this company came from associates and customers. You know, we hire customer advocates that are all college trained. Every single person picks up the phone that says, hi, this is IDLife, how can I help you? Is a college trained professional. Why do we do that? That's the first reaction, that's the first touch of customer experiences. You know, our warehouse team, when they're out there and they're sending out packages to brand new associates, they're writing personal notes on the boxes, they're putting stickers on the boxes. Why do we do that? We want people to feel welcome. They don't have to do that. What was interesting is when we went out in the warehouse and we empowered them to do that, they said, what do you mean? I was like, write a personal note of welcome to these folks. And they're like, you want us to do this? I was like, yes. They are our first touch to the customer. So what ends up happening is people love what they do. They enjoy what they're doing. Our ID nutrition room. You know, when people come to our office, you got to see it on the video. It's not the same unless you actually walk in the office. We built a glass wall when you walk in the front door. People said we were crazy. I said, supplements are made in warehouses and locked doors and no one gets to see this. I said, no, ours is going to be in front of glass and everyone's going to get to see. And they said, why would you do that? I said, because we want to be upfront and honest and ethical in everything that we do. We even invited the FDA to come in and inspect us. You know, when the thing happened out in New York, we sent Troy Aikman and Logan on Fox News and said, hey, by the way, why don't you come take a look? Why would we do that? Because we know if they do, 80% of the people that are in this industry would not be in this industry anymore. We're on a revolutionary track to change an industry. We are doing things that people have never done before. We are partnering with American Heart Association and a lot of others in an effort to literally bring health and wellness to this country. Products are secondary. Because what ends up happening is this: when we give enough people what they're looking for, enough information and getting them healthy, the products will take care of themselves. They will take care of themselves, because people are always wanting to look for the answer, and we have that answer. But the other thing is this: when you build a company, we have a retail business center that does business with the likes of Whole Foods. Why did we do business with Whole Foods? Because somebody said, if your products are that good, then why aren't they on a store shelf? We're like, okay, fine. We went and got on the hardest store shelf in the world to get on. 10.5 months. Name another marketing company that has a shelf space in Whole Foods, much less an end cap space. You know. Then they said, okay, well, if you're that good, then if this assessment is that good, why isn't it in doctors' offices? But now we have it in over 500 doctors' offices across the country. Doctors are using it as an onboarding tool. If there are already doctors in the room, come see me. I'll show you how to actually get reimbursed for nutritional counseling for your patients if you need to. Because under the Affordable Care Act, there's actually a provision that you actually can get reimbursed. The problem is most doctors, like myself when I was in law school, see, I took one class in tax in law school. Don't ask me a tax question. Most doctors took one class in nutrition in med school, but 55% of people go to their doctor and ask them nutritional advice. The reason why it's dangerous for doctors is this: when you're giving that advice and you recommend a supplement, guess what? You're also prescribing a pharmaceutical, and if you don't know what the interactions are, you're potentially creating liabilities for yourself that are not covered by your med malpractice insurance. Most doctors don't know that. So I have a tendency to talk to a lot of doctors and say, okay, let me show you another way where we take the responsibility. We're the ones that are reading all the studies. We're giving you all the information. And we're giving you that report so you can actually do that nutritional counseling session with your patient. And why would you want to do that? Let's get the patient healthy. Then we started a corporate wellness program. People said, why would you do that? There's no money in corporate wellness. Yeah, but corporate wellness has been done wrong in this country for 20 years. How do we know it's been done wrong? I was actually on stage in Little Rock, Arkansas, on stage with the head of HR for Walmart, who literally said from stage that they have a great relationship with their employees. That's about what I did. And we're sitting there, and I've made the statement that people have done health and have done corporate wellness wrong for 20 years, and that's why we got into business. And she goes, well, how do you prove that? I said, 20 years ago, the obesity rate in this country was 58%. Today it's 69%. Enough said. But ultimately, here's the biggest issue. It's not the 11% that the adults went up. It's the 23% that the kids went up. That's the problem. See, the CDC just came out with some results. They said the average kid in this country spends 4 minutes a day outside. Wow. 4 minutes a day. And it's not the cell phones and it's not the video games. You have schools that are canceling physical education, cutting it out of the budgets. Okay, this is what's happening. So what are we doing? We're going into schools. Because, schools would usually let me in one time, because I go in and say ketchup is not a vegetable. I don't care what our government says. And I start attacking. I love the fact we're in a pizza joint. I mean, this is great. Hey, I'm not judging. I had it. I ate. I had to eat. And I got the gluten-free and got salad. Still wasn't great, but hey, I worked out with Darrell this morning, so I'm good. Trust me, I burned over 610 calories, so I was good. He almost killed me. But see, here's the thing. We're not going to judge people. What we're going to teach you is, hey, you're going to make choices. Those choices have consequences. I was on Facebook today. Somebody was saying something about candy corn. I don't know, maybe it's up here. Somebody was really having a problem because they kept seeing candy corn in the office. So I said, it's real simple. 26 pieces, only 48 minutes on a treadmill. Go ahead. She goes, I didn't eat the candy corn. So I'm like, okay, great. Glad I could help out. That's the kind of information that we give in corporate wellness. Like, for instance, a lot of people have heard their entire life, muscle weighs more than fat. Pound is a pound, folks. It's called density. Galileo proved that one. Pound of feathers, pound of rocks, hit the ground same time. It's real simple. Pound of muscle is about a fist. Pound of fat's like 2 fists. That's all it is. But here's the thing that you can teach somebody where they'll always want more muscle than fat. Fat will burn 7 to 10 calories a day. Muscle will burn 7 to 10 calories a day. Fat, 2 to 3 calories a day. You want more muscle on your body than you do fat. That's one. And when you tell somebody in simplistic terms and you're not judging them and you're just giving them information, guess what? They get healthy. The average participation rate in this country in corporate wellness is about 11%. Our participation rate is 72%. Let me let that sink in, 72%. We took over North Haven, Connecticut, their entire corporate wellness program for all of their first responders, school districts, everything. In an environment where health costs are going up 11 to 17% on average, they got a 3.2% reduction. Because we focused on the individual, we gave them the information that they needed, they followed the program, and I'm most happy with the firemen in North Haven, Connecticut, because when I went in the first time, it was donuts and all kinds of other stuff. When I went in 6 months later, it was pull-up bars and fruit. Because they started getting it. This is the kind of stuff we're doing. These are the things that we're partnering with. See, when you understand what ID Life is and why we exist, then you know why so many people are starting to jump on board. Because a lot of people get involved with companies because of a product. And they want to push a product. But you know what? A product, everybody has them. Even though ours are the best, and there's no doubt about it, a product is a product. It's real simple. You tell somebody who's taking a shake right now, hey, this is better. What are they going to do? Whoa. They're going to push back because you just said their baby's ugly. But if you tell somebody, hey, I'm part of a movement. We're going to get this country well. We're going to give them information that they want to hear, even when they don't want to hear it. And what's ultimately going to happen is we're going to partner with people that help us get the word out. Jen Wiederstrom. By the way, she has this little show called The Biggest Loser. 6.7 million people watch it every week or so. Plus, that's coming out in January. We have this thing called an ID transformation that she created. Can't you imagine this vision of what January might look like for the new year, new you, and Jen Wiederstrom? How about a corporate wellness program? When I walk into corporate wellness companies all the time and they say, we want to, last year we tried that Biggest Loser weight loss thing. I said, really? I said, how would you like to try it with the Biggest Loser trainer?